All right, before getting to this John Seidler news, I wanted to hit on the passing of Ricky Henderson. At least that's what is being said on social media. I've been waiting for Jeff Passan to tweet about it, but I have not seen that yet. So we'll see if this, in fact, is true. I think it's true. And if that's the case, extremely sad. He was only 65, but what a personality. And I'm not someone that, watched his career. I was just born, I think, his last year in the big leagues. But obviously, I know former Padre, we know that he's one of the best baseball players of all time. And so just there aren't a ton of guys, I think, that you could take from where they played, put them in any era of baseball, and they would still be amazing players. Ricky Henderson is one of those guys. And so I saw this on social media. I forget who said this, but I totally agree. Heaven got their leadoff hitter today. So obviously very sad. I saw some pictures online of Tony and Ricky together in the dugout. That's a heck of a duo that's up there in heaven now. So sad news, but wishing the best to Ricky's family, during this tough time. Now, getting to this John Seidler news, according to Kevin Acee, he is going to become the Padres' new control person. Props to Kevin for getting this story because I was not expecting this to be coming. I thought maybe because Eric Kutsenda, I thought that I saw on the website this past year that his title was changed from the interim chairman to the chairman. So I thought maybe this is them saying that, okay, Kutsenda's going to run the show. But John Seidler, he's the oldest brother of Peter Seidler. He has been tabbed to become the team's control person. I will link Kevin's article in the description so you can go check that out because he has all the details, obviously, and maybe it will be updated by the time that this is out and you can see more info. The Padres, I believe, provided these statements to Kevin saying it has been just over a year since we lost our chairman, Peter Seidler. He would be incredibly proud of the team's grit and performance this past season, but mostly grateful to the Padres fans whose loyalty and support inspired them. Since Peter's passing, Eric Kutsenda has served as our interim control person. So there you go. So he was never, it seems like to them in this statement, he wasn't the permanent. Peter's youngest brother, Matt, as trustee of Peter's trust, is pleased to announce that John Seidler, Peter's oldest sibling, an accomplished entrepreneur and business executive, will be the Padres' next control person, pending approval by Major League Baseball. And that shouldn't be an issue, obviously, because if Peter Seidler's, family and his youngest brother, Matt, is announcing like John is our pick, then they passed Eric Kutsenda. Why wouldn't they pass John Seidler, right? And what I liked here was this quote about Peter's vision and how they want to keep this the same. Peter never viewed the Padres as his team. Instead, he saw the team as an asset of the community, of which he was a faithful steward. John shares Peter's vision and will continue to strengthen and nurture this great franchise, its players, fans, and employees, and the entire San Diego community. John, he is 65. He has been part of the Padres ownership group since 2012. He has residencies in Orange County and San Diego, spends the majority of his time in San Diego. I saw Annie Halbrun post that John and his wife is at pretty much every Padres game. So they are definitely involved. They're not just a part of it just to be a part of it. And so that is great as a diehard Padres fan myself. Like, I love this, that it's staying in the family. It's nothing against Eric Kutsenda, but it's different that it's the Seidler name as someone that's the control person. Eric Kutsenda seemed like longtime business partner, great friend of Peter, and I was fine with that being the interim guy. Like, you know what you're doing with the money and all that, great. But long term, to be honest, I wonder what fans are going to think. Like, this is a genuine question that I have. Let me know in the comments. I wonder what fans are going to think of John Seidler, because I look up John Seidler on the internet. You don't see any pictures. You see him when he was a baby. You don't see pictures of him. So Eric Kutsenda, there was one picture, remember, before the spring training presser? With John, I don't see anything. So it seems like he is someone that likes to be not in the spotlight, which I don't mind. I just wonder what would fans think of Tom Seidler being the control person over John? Would they rather have Tom Seidler be the control person, who I believe is big in the community? He is definitely out there because he's part of his role is in community with the Padres, I believe. So he is out there, and we know what he looks like. Would fans have more comfort in Tom Seidler being the control person? Maybe that's not something that he wanted to do. Maybe it was agreed upon before Peter passed away that John was going to be the guy, because he's the oldest in that family. Or again, maybe it comes down to Tom didn't want to do it. He just likes the role that he's in. And John, after maybe speaking with Eric Kutsenda, going through this past season, realizes like, yep, I'm ready to do this. Let's do this. What was said here about the stake in the team, 45% stake in the team is Peter Seidler's family. I thought it was more than that, but all you need is 15% to be the MLB team control person. So the group, Peter Seidler's family, that group includes his siblings, his mother, and his widow, Sheil. Also members of the O'Malley family. So that all makes up the 45% stake. And then there's Mexican billionaire Alfredo Harpelú, who is the only non-family member, according to Kevin here, to have a stake that is at least 15%, other than, the Seidler group, right? Only non-family member to have a stake at least 15% of the Padres, in that Padres control group, if you were to split the pie, if you will. Eric Kutsenda, he will remain in the organization, according to this article. We know Eric Grupner, CEO, he's staying. We know AJ Preller is staying. And on those two guys, I'm fine with it. I have expressed disagreements, disappointment in some quote statements from Eric Grupner in the past. But overall, I think he's done a pretty good job. And then AJ Preller just had his best season as the Padres GM, as the president of baseball operations here. So, yeah, he's staying. I have full faith in AJ Preller at the moment, coming off this past year. Obviously, that wasn't the case after 2023. But, I mean, this past year, and the group, the manager, front office pairing, it seems pretty darn healthy. Way healthier than the past one, for sure. The most recent one before Schilt and Preller. Also news here was that the Padres, the transition to what they believe is a more sustainable way of operating in a smaller market is expected to continue with John Seidler in charge. So it doesn't seem like you're going to see this big bump in payroll, but they're not going to become the A's either. Well, maybe I should say like the Marlins, because the A's are actually spending money, but it's also because they're spending money only because the CBA and the Players Union, they don't want the Players Union filing a grievance against them for not spending money. So they're going to spend as much money as they need to, and then they'll probably stop after that. But I wouldn't put the A's in a group that's like, oh yeah, their ownership wants to win. They would have done it in Oakland if they actually, cared. When they had really good young talent around them. But anyway, that's totally besides the point. That's different. But, with the Chargers leaving, I can relate to the Oakland. I think we can relate to the Oakland A's fans a little bit and how just sucky of a situation that was. But again, going back to Seidler and John Seidler, don't know much about him. Don't know what he looks like. And maybe I do know what he looks. Maybe I've seen him at the ballpark because I am around the dugout a little bit, in the stands, but around the Padres dugout. And maybe I have seen him before, but I just didn't know who it was. So we'll see. Is he going to speak to the media like Eric Kutsenda did alongside Eric Grupner at a spring training press conference? Or will it be Kutsenda and John Seidler? Will it be just John Seidler? Will it be Preller there as well? We'll see what happens. But it staying in the Seidler family makes me happy. There's no other family that I would rather have be in control of this franchise. And it seems like it's going to be in their control for a long time. They're not looking to give this up. So that's great. They care about the family, cares about the city of San Diego. Will fans question their commitment to winning because the payroll isn't as high as they want it to be? Or like, I was disappointed that they didn't bring back Kyle Gashioka for a reasonable amount of money. We can express that disappointment, but I think we got to realize where the payroll was when Ron Fowler was in charge in previous ownerships, and also realize that it's not like the Padres don't have stars and they're not getting Max Fried or Blake Snell or Juan Soto, and trading those guys away. No, they have Manny Machado. They've given him two $300+ million contracts. They gave Fernando a $340 million contract. Merrill, I have full confidence that he will be locked down at some point, and we'll see what that number, but that's going to be hundreds of millions of dollars. Jake Cronenworth, I know that not everyone likes that contract, but $11 million a year made that commitment. Joe Musgrove, $100 million given to him. Yu Darvish, over $100 million given to him. We can complain about the Xander Bogaerts contract, but that's a multiple-time All-Star, multiple World Series champ. I mean, $280 million. Like, I'm talking about the commitment. I'm talking about the big-name players, and the Padres have that. There are plenty of teams out there that can spend, and they choose not to. The Padres have spent. And now with the payroll that they have, these players, the contracts, they have to just find a way to make the team as competitive as they can make it with those guys on the roster. And if we expected this, the payroll to continue to rise year after year after year for the next, decade, then you're living in like this false reality. You're expecting too much. We're not the Dodgers. I was just on a show that I think is going to come out at some point this weekend, and was just talking about how, as much as like we maybe would like to have the resources, well, not maybe, we would like it to be a level playing field with the Dodgers. It's just not, and we have to face that reality, and we have to do, and this is what AJ Preller is doing, and this ownership group do as great of a job as you can with the limits that are on you. There are more limits on the Padres than there are on the Dodgers. Or I should say, maybe not more limits, but like, you get what I'm saying. They don't have as much flexibility financially as the Dodgers do. The Dodgers have a huge TV deal with Sportsnet LA, I think is what it's called. Lots of money there, right? They have a bigger stadium than Petco Park. They have a bigger market than Petco Park. It's just different, And if the Padres had that TV deal, then they would be spending more money. I guarantee you they would be spending more money if they had a TV deal. They lost the TV deal, and they don't have the Dodgers TV deal. Even if they had the Bally TV deal, that's not the Dodgers TV deal. It's not the Yankees TV deal. So we just have to understand that. And what did they get? Like 20% of, was it 20 or 80? Maybe it was 80, but still, it's not, it was not the amount of money that they were expecting to receive under that Bally TV deal that they end up getting. And then you miss the playoffs in 2023. And with this roster, the payroll, the stars that are on it, it just makes it more difficult. So I just hope that fans understand that. It's obviously easy as a fan to sit here and say, like, spend more money because we're spending money on the product, but we don't know all of the details about how much room they have, how much of a profit did they make, how much money did they lose in 2023, and they have to make that up. We just don't know everything. So I want to give them some grace on that. But I think I can still be disappointed at times too. But just overall, again, I know I'm kind of rambling, but John Seidler taking over, 65 years old. I love that it's staying in the family. That's what I wanted to have happen. It's nothing against Eric Kutsenda, but I'm happier with it being someone with the Seidler name that seems dedicated to the Padres as the person that's going to take over as the control person. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. But yeah, that's the news. Credit to Kevin Acee for coming up with that news and getting that. And again, that link to his story is going to be in the description.